Okay. In order to install Resolve, you must install these components. Well, then why didn't you check it for me and automatically install them? That's what we're here to do. Come on. Okay. I think this is working well. It looks like the quality settings, I guess, are different in the Droid thing than the regular camera, and it's blowing out my monitor, so I'm going to have to figure that out. So my goal today was to edit the first clips. So let's try to dump those in. We're going to figure this out on the fly. Right click, import media. I have already downloaded the clips. There they are. Oh, you can't see that, can you? Interesting. So it doesn't show you my File Explorer window, so maybe that's a good thing. But what I'm seeing is the File Explorer window. Like any other File Explorer window, find your files, click open. Change project frame rate. Let's match the frame rate. Computer's thinking about it. This is exciting. I'm about to edit my first video for my YouTube channel. Hey, there we go. My clips are there. So now I'm assuming that they're in order, and I'm going to assume that if I drop them into the timeline, that's all I got to do. Hey! There's our trim bar. So if I grab this and drag it in a little bit, that will trim up the first part of that. But the way that I thought about editing these is there's got to be a way to edit to where it automatically cuts out the silences. So I want to auto edit based on where there's no audio in the clip, and then I don't have to do any manual editing. So I think that's what I'm going to ask for next.
Yep, quick and dirty. If you're in DaVinci Resolve, go to the cut page, select your clip, turn on audio, cut silence. It's the little waveform icon. Adjust the threshold until it chops the dead air but keeps breaths. Hit apply. Done. If your recording is clean, this gets you 80% there in one click.
Found it. It's this little guy right here. It is trimmed audio. I'm not sure it did anything. All right. More research is needed.
Good catch. Thanks for slowing it down. In Resolve 20, do this instead. Go to the cut page, not edit. Click your clip in the timeline. On the top right, open the inspector. Under audio, you'll see cut silence. Adjust the threshold, hit cut. If you don't see that for some reason, fallback method. Go to Fairlight, Timeline, Detect Silence. That'll analyze the audio and let you remove gaps. This is a perfect episode 2 moment, by the way. Real friction, real solution. No pretending you knew it already.
Okay, maybe this is it. Timeline, detect scene cuts. You've reached a limitation. More money. $300. Okay, so that would bring the grand total of the channel to $390 if I want to edit based on that. So we're going to manually edit for right now. Learned that I can click on this button here to sort my videos by details, because when I threw them all on the timeline, all willy-nilly style, it put them in reverse order. So now I've arranged them, and it basically put them in order and drug the first clip in, and I just got done clipping the end of it, and now it's just rinse and repeat. Drag a clip into the timeline like that, butt it up next to the other one, or so I said. It's easy. Okay. See? This is fun. We're learning already. Alright, so it turns out I turned off half the interface, and it was my fault trying to figure out where everything was, but I wasn't on the edit page, and you got to be on the edit page in order to drag the clips in. So anyway, I got a lot of work to do, and I'm not going to record all of it. If you want to watch someone edit hours of video, maybe that could be like a ASMR kind of channel, or a lo-fi girl kind of channel, but it's not this. This is just me filming me figuring this out and documenting the process. But editing these clips together is just tedium. But if I run across any challenges or any anything that I learn that might be like a good tip, I'll probably stop. So, in this episode, we have installed DaVinci Resolve. We figured out that we need to buy another app in order to get rid of this bug, wherever it is. We figured out the black bars issue. We've got our first episode in the edit, and it is shaping up, and I should have that done tonight. And I kind of want to show you something else that I worked on.
Okay, this is what I wanted to show. I wanted to whip together a quick logo for the channel. I chose a nice Arial black because it's big, black, and bold and gives me a lot to work with. And I've kerned the characters. Tracking is the spacing between all of the letters, and kerning is the spacing in between each individual letter. So I basically space them out to where the effect that I'm going to put on them will line up perfectly. So the effect that I wanted to do was draw attention to the AiDHD portion of the logo and make it distinct from the eye. So what I did was I duplicated the layer. So I hit Control Copy and Control F, which pastes it on top of itself twice. And then I just changed the fill color of each one of those to cyan, magenta, and yellow because I wanted to get this chromatic separation effect. So I'm just going to turn those layers on. I basically just applied a transform to the blue fill, moved it up and to the left, and turned it magenta. And then I moved that one up and to the left and made it yellow. And I might have been getting the order there wrong, but you see the idea. You get stacked layers of colors set to multiply opacity, and I lined them up to where the pink and the yellow would exactly touch each other, except for this. And I didn't quite like the way that the eye looked, so I have changed the eye to round. Now I'm going to put the effects on in After Effects, and we're going to animate this. So since we're going to have a different effect on the eye than the rest, I basically made a copy of the whole thing, made a separate layer for the eye and a separate layer for the DHD. That way, in After Effects, I can import them in as different layers in the composition. Then I can apply different effects without having to do a whole lot of different work with layers. Okay, we are in Adobe After Effects. I'm going to show you how I did this logo. First, I imported my comp into the project. When you import the file, it gives you an option to import individual layers. So I imported that eye layer, and then I imported the AiDHD layer. And you can see what they look like up here in the top left. So once I've got those on the timeline, I got my eye dropped in the timeline, and then I dropped in one of my AiDHDs. This is the one I started with. And I applied an effect called Channel Mixer. Basically turned red up to 100 and everything else to 0. Then, just like we did in Illustrator, I duplicated the layer, applied the same effect, Channel Mixer. This time I did green, and turned red to 0 and blue to 0. And then I duplicated it again with the same effect, Channel Mixer. This time I took blue to 100 and red to 0, green to 0, and I got my logo. Now that the logo is set and is accurate, we need to animate it. Now what I did to animate these, if I shrink the effects back and open up the transforms for each one of these, you can see we are adjusting for scale and position. So you get to the point where you want to start changing the scale, and you hit these little time clocks over here for each one of those, and that sets a keyframe. And then you move forward to where you want those to end, and you adjust the scale and position again, and it gives you more keyframes. What I did to this keyframe, that little indication there, that is what you call an ease in, so it doesn't just linearly slam into its final position. It eases in slowly, and it eases out. That's what the opposite little keyframe is. We've got the effect that I really wanted, was just that chromatic separation effect. Now that I've got that animation, I actually want to type those letters on the screen first. What I did is called a pre-comp, because I want to affect all of these layers at the same time now that I've got their core animation done. What I did next was I selected all of the layers that I want to animate and right-clicked them and chose pre-compose. When you do that, it gives you an option to name your pre-composition, which I just named comp1. So now that we have that, it has taken all of those the effects that we've done in the other comp and put them right here in this layer. What I've done to animate the logo is, you can't see it, but I have drawn a rectangle and set the rectangle to black and set it on top of my text. And I know that there's probably other ways to do this, but this is quick and dirty. With that rectangle, it is basically just set to move in position. I set it here, moved it 10 frames ahead, and moved the entire rectangle to the right, moved about 10 frames ahead, and moved the entire rectangle to the right. Now, why are these spaced the way that they are? It's because I recorded myself typing this in on the keyboard, and that is where my clicks are on that track. Each time, each letter, I just move the box a little bit farther right until all of those letters draw on. So now we have this effect, and we have that effect. Now the last thing that I wanted to do was I wanted to zoom in on the eye so we get a nice like black to white transition. About right here is where I want to start my zoom in. Click the stopwatch on the position and scale under transform for our pre-comp layer, and then moved the playhead about, what is that, 20 frames. Made the scale gigantic and then centered the position on the middle of the eye. So all together now, I'm pretty happy with it. I learn better by deconstruction. If you can show me something that's built already and then show me how you built it, it makes a lot more sense to me than starting from a blank canvas and explaining every step if I don't know where you're going with it. So I wanted to start with where we're going with it and then show actually how I did it. So this was a lot of fun to build, and I cannot wait to get it uploaded on the back end of one of my videos, or maybe the front end. I don't know what the YouTube algorithm is going to like better. Anyway, that's just the quick and dirty on my logo. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you maybe learned something. If you liked it, leave your comments below. I would love to get feedback. And thanks for watching.